Hello, Colin.
Hi. Hi, Paula.
Colin Knox, welcome to the Integrity Live magazine.
Thank you.
And to the Friday Vibe. I'm just going to add Aaron in. I'm just going to add him in. Hi, Aaron. We're live, just to let you know. We've just literally started. So welcome, everyone, to Integrity Magazine Live. And this evening on the Friday Vibe, we have Colin Knox and we have director Aaron Truss. And we are going to be talking about NOX, the Rob Knox Story, and the reasons behind the documentary, which congratulations, Aaron and Colin, has just won the Best Feature Documentary only this week, at the London Film Festival. So that's pretty amazing. Congratulations. Really well done.
Thank you so much.
So we're going to talk about that, and we're going to talk about why the documentary came about. And I know it's a tough story. And I know that Colin, you've told it so many times. I think you said about 500-600 times, and I'm really grateful for that you've come onto this platform to share your story again, especially as obviously it's so topical right now, and also the fact that you've done so well in the London Film Festival. And Aaron, your first documentary, and it wins Best Feature. That is pretty amazing.
Thank you so
welcome,
much.
guys. So, first of all, Colin, would you like to introduce yourself to Integrity Live, please?
Yes, I'm Colin Knox. I'm the father of Rob Knox, who played Rob played the character in the Harry Potter series in the Half-Blood Prince. He was Marcus Belby, and he was one of two sons that I had. I lost one, and I treated both my sons the same. I loved them dearly, and I lost someone very dear in my life. And it's a very emotional thing to talk about.
It is. Thank you. And Aaron Truss, director, do you want to introduce yourself and the reasons why you got involved in the documentary?
Sure. I'm Aaron Truss, and I'm the director of NOX, the Rob Knox Story. Rob was a very close friend of mine growing up as children. Both went to theatre school, studying acting. And the reason why I came on board this film was to highlight knife crime in an original way that doesn't involve a headline, in a way that involves the medium of film, and in a way that's thinking outside the box, because not only are we getting Rob's legacy out there, but we are trying to drive the point home in a way that hasn't been done before in a movie, essentially. So that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And who came up with the idea about having this documentary?
Well, I initially had the idea that concept was around about a year after Rob died, and I developed a documentary that I looked at. For me, didn't work too well with a previous director. I took it to someone at the BBC, and her forte was she produced documentaries, and I spoke to her for 1 hour, and I listened for 55 minutes, and I thought, no, it doesn't work. It doesn't work, and I sent the doc that I had to Aaron. Then Aaron looked at the documentary that we had prior, and from that point, Aaron take the story over.
Yeah, I was aware that there was a documentary in the works for many years, and by chance, I asked Colin, "Where are we at with this documentary? I really want to see it." And Colin told me that, there were things happening, but it wasn't really going at the pace that he wanted it to be. And I don't think, to be honest, if I can say this, Colin, I don't think you were entirely happy with the process and with how it was looking at the time. And I just happened to be, for the past few years, working as an editor, as a post-production editor. And I've done short, behind-the-scenes documentaries things for big films. And I thought, give me a chance. I kind of bit Colin's hand off at the chance to say, look, send me what you have. Let me take a look. And, let's see what we can do with it. And yeah, and here we are now. We have a film that we're very, very proud of. I know Colin's very proud of, and I know the rest of the family are very proud of.
It's actually, so I had the honor of watching it last night, and I was very moved to tears, which I think any audience member would be, because it's very poignant. It's a very honest story. It's written very well. It's documented very well and produced very well, Aaron. So congratulations on that. But also with the involvement of Jim Broadbent, Danny Harmer. My kids know Danny Harmer because she was Tracy Beaker growing up, and we've actually seen her in Dorking Halls once in a pantomime. So yeah, and also of course Ray Winstone, who is on the cover of, on the front flyer poster of the documentary, and it's just so well done. And also the involvement of all of Rob's friends and the recounting of what happened that night, but also the background story of who Rob was and who he still is, because he lives obviously in everyone's memory, and he was a great friend. And more than anything, I think what really moved me to tears was his brother's account of, who Rob was to him, and also the evening. So fair play to Jamie. I don't want to move you to tears now. I was really moved. So if anyone, what I will say is, going back to the knife crime thing, which is obviously you want to raise awareness of, if anyone doubted the impact of a knife crime tragedy on a family or friends or the wider community, they need to watch this documentary. That's what I'd say. So, brilliantly well done. Fantastic.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what gave you the idea to get all the family and friends involved? And then obviously the people who worked, the actors and actresses who worked with Rob in his short acting career?
I would like to say something. I've always wanted to show Robert as a person, Robert as an actor, and the demise of Robert. And that was the way I thought things should happen in the first instance before I met Aaron Truss. When Aaron took it on board, he created what I wanted to happen. He produced who was Robert as a character, as a person, human, living person that I can watch every day, cry every day when I see my son living, breathing, and enjoying himself. Then Aaron took it to a second point, and then to a third point, and I think Aaron, he took it to a place where I thought he should have gone to in the first instance. Mm. And from that point, Aaron, can you take it over? Because you've done a fantastic job in portraying Rob as a person, Rob as an actor, and then the demise of Rob, and then the fight against knife crime.
With Rob, it was very important to me that we're making a film about Rob, and Rob needs to be at the forefront of this film. It's almost to me like this is Rob's swan song to me. This is one more film that Rob is going to be the star of and is going to push this forward. And it was very important to portray that with stock footage that Colin had of him, family videos. But as you were saying, the actors who came on board to talk about Rob and the way he worked professionally, that's so important, because you have to dig deeper than Harry Potter actor killed. You have to go into what he was like as an actor. You have to go into what his personality was like. And Rob was a very close friend of mine. And I'm all the better for knowing him, because he was just so cheeky. He was so delightful. And thanks, Colin. And I couldn't praise Rob enough, let alone his bravery on the night of the 23rd of May, 2008. And this is something that I feel like I've always felt like I was destined to do. But it was very important to weave his personality into the film. Otherwise, no one would really care. It would just be a headline or a statistic that doesn't, those don't move you. They may shock you, but they won't move you. And you have to put that across in the movie. And like Colin was saying, breaking it down, we enter the film with who Rob was, what his friends thought of him, and what he was like in his own family as well. And you see him work professionally. And then when you lose him, you're losing your main character. You're losing your protagonist, and it hurts. And as Colin was saying, I'm sorry to bring this up, Colin, I know it's upsetting, but that's the way other people feel when they watch this documentary. They feel like they've lost something very important because, like I say, everyone has a son, a brother, a nephew that, this could happen to anyone. This is a story that could happen to anyone. It doesn't matter if you're in Harry Potter. The Harry Potter connection is what's getting us through the doors that we need to get through, because of the association alone is what is the hook to this movie. If Rob wasn't in Harry Potter, I'm afraid to say we probably wouldn't be talking now or having this discussion. We wouldn't be in the fortunate position due to Rob's legacy.
Exactly. And I saw this statistic from the documentary that 2,462 people lost their lives to fatal stabbing between April 2008 and March 2019.
We've calculated the toss. We've calculated since then, and it's gone up to 2,737.
It's ridiculous, but because of Rob, and because of who Rob was and who he was becoming in his career, then he got a lot of coverage. Like Colin said, you've done nearly 600 interviews. It's pretty incredible, and obviously this documentary. But all those stories that aren't told, all those parents who don't get their say, who don't hear the story of their lives, So you set up and can we just say that Rob was only 18? Yeah. So we're not talking about someone who had a chance to really fulfill his dreams, his career. He was just 18, and he was doing so well. And the night that he lost his life was protecting his brother and his friends, and that really comes across in the documentary. What a lovely soul he was, and how lovely all his friends are as well. So all credit to you. That really did come across. But you're telling not just Rob's story, you're telling the story of all those people who and those children and those teenagers who aren't here anymore to tell the story. So, and I think that comes across really well. And then you set up the Rob Knox Foundation to help save lives by fighting knife crime. So where did that idea come from? And who initiated that idea?
Rob, on the night that Rob was killed, the following day we went to a place in Sidcup. We had to speak to a huge amount of press. I'm sorry, but I spoke about this subject in my office when I used to work, and we talked about what happened if you lost your child. What would you do? And you say, yeah, I'll go kill him. You become very aggressive towards that incident where your son's been taken, and you will fight to do something against that person that killed your son. But the following day, in front of the press, as a family, my ex-wife Sally, my son Jamie, and myself, and we sat there and we talked about fighting knife crime, not fighting that singular person that killed my son, but looking at the broader subject, which is knife crime. Young people killing young people for no reason at all. Mm-hmm. And from that moment on, it's always been about trying to fight against people that carry knives, fighting against people that want to take other young people's lives. And that happened from day one. And it was an instant reaction that you shouldn't just say, okay, let's bear arms and shoot anyone. You don't go out aggressively. You have to fight it. And I've been fighting it for ever since Rob died.
Yeah.
In Parliament and everywhere else, just to trying to make change. And it's an uphill struggle.
So I know that Ray Winstone in the documentary, the actor Ray Winstone, he talks about, I loved it where he came in with Theresa May, the little clip.
Yeah.
And he said, she said something and then he said no, didn't he? He goes, no, this is, it's not acceptable, kind of, changes need to be done. And that was a very strong point made in the documentary. That no more excuses, please. You shouldn't have no more lives lost. That's it.
I think what it was, and I've always been an advocate of this. Ray talked about being proactive. I think we should be proactive. The police should be proactive. The government should be proactive. But what Theresa May said was, what we would do if we find someone that commits a crime, we'll punish them. Well, I'm sorry, that's too late.
It's too late.
You're now sort of bringing your arms around the family that lost a child, and you said, "I'm so sorry it happened, but we will find the person that killed the child." Well, no, let's go back to the future, right? Let's go back to the future and look at what we could have done to stop that person from being killed. Being proactive. If it means stopping people on the streets from carrying a knife, well, so be it. I don't want another person, a young, I won't say child, but a young person in their teenage years to be killed by way of a knife or a gun. That shouldn't happen. We should be proactive to stop it. And we shouldn't be so PC into stopping people, because if I stop let's suppose when I was a police officer and I stopped a person on the street, I stopped potentially that person from killing someone. So I'm being proactive in trying to save a life. And what right has someone got to carry a knife?
So tell me, Colin, what's the foundation doing, the Rob Knox Foundation doing on the ground level to re-educate those perpetrators who may think that carrying a knife will protect them? Because you do have that in the gang. I know you've been working with gangs, and they feel like if they have a weapon, because other people in the street have a weapon, then if they don't have a weapon, then they're not protected. So how do you re-educate on the ground level kids who are dealing with this day in, day out, having knives put to their throat, lots of them walking around with stab wounds and gun wounds? How do you proactively, as a foundation and a charity and a cause, how do you get that message across?
All we can do is to raise the profile. We can't change legislation. We want to, but for us as a foundation, we can't make a change per se. What we try to do is influence those people that are in governmental positions that can pass a law to make a change. I mean, the Rob Knox Foundation, I've always done a great job in trying to put the message out there, but it needs people in a position to make a change.
Yeah.
I've been there. I've spoken to a Prime Minister, Minister of Education, blah, blah, blah. I've been there, and it didn't work. The thing is, the foundation itself cannot make a change. What it can do is influence people to make a change.
Yes. Yeah.
And it needs a groundswell to make that opinion the same. They have to sort of follow that opinion where, yes, we need to make a change. And what we try to do is try to make a change. And it's trying to speak to the right people at the right time. And I thought it happened 10 years ago. I thought speaking to ministers at the right time was working, but it didn't. And all we can try to do, because we have two wings to the foundation.
Yes.
The dark side and the light side of the moon. So you're talking about the dark side at the moment, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you want to come back to the light side later on?
Shall we talk about the light side now? Let's move to the light side. Tell me about the light side.
Well, the light side is something that's Aaron's doing with a documentary with the Rob Knox Film Festival and the Rob Knox Film Academy. We try to engage young people to make their own films to enter into the Rob Knox Film Festival. We also had a situation in Chatham, which is very close to where Rob was born, where we had the Rob Knox Film Academy, where we ask young people to get involved in making film. Anything from dialogue to cost to sound to lighting to camera to everything. And they produce their own film. But what we need at our foundation is to have larger corporates to get involved in that.
To sponsor.
It's all about funding, because of COVID and stuff. But it's something we're proud of doing. And with the documentary that Aaron's done, Aaron's been around for years. We've done Cold Kiss with Ray Winstone. We created a short film. Yeah, Aaron, you want to talk about the Cold Kiss?
Yeah, I mean that came about probably 2 years. No, not even that. A year after Robert passed, and. I remember you approached me about doing this short film about knife crime, and I was obviously going through my grief at the time of losing Rob, and I didn't really know how to channel that grief. And the opportunity came up to do something about it. And bear in mind, I was 18 as well, and I was at university and I was studying film, and I thought, yeah, let's do this. Is something that we can do. And just by I don't know, but Colin said, wouldn't it be great if we got Ray Winstone involved? And I thought, yeah, that'd be great. Let's get Tom Cruise and get, Denzel Washington and Brad Pitt. Let's get them all in it. And just by chance, I think it was the association of Ray in the papers at the time. Ray was a strong advocate for knife crime awareness. Yeah. So we got in touch with his agent. And I remember one day I got a phone call. I said, hello. This is Ray Winstone. Hello. I thought someone was, winding me up, but we had a really nice chat about what we were trying to do. We spoke about Rob, and he just said, give me some dates and I'll be there. And I thought, and that was pretty much the start of our relationship with Ray, is that it was something that started off very small with a short film. And over the years, I've kept in touch with him. And when we came to do this documentary, he was one of the first people I spoke to and said, look, we're putting a team together. And before I could even finish my sentence, he was like, I'm in. Just let me know when you need me.
Can I just interrupt that? Ray Winstone has been in my family's life for years. My brother was the body double for Ray Winstone. Robert and Jamie were
King Arthur.
Yeah. They were trying to be aspiring actors to get the King Arthur. Robert was taken on. Jamie was taken on. Robert was taken on as Ray Winstone's younger person called Bors. Jamie was a character called Dagonet in King Arthur. I went, wow, this is fantastic. I've got 2 children going for a major film, King Arthur, and I've got both of them in there. And when I was with my children at the part where there was being interviewed, they said to me, "Does your son horse ride?" I went, "Yep, of course they can." Yep.
But they couldn't.
No. Do you know why? Because I learned from a previous film I answered the question honestly, and they didn't get it. I went, I'm going to lie on this one. So when they said, can Robert ride? I went, oh yeah, of course he can. And can Jamie ride? Yeah, of course they can. And then I took them up the road from where I used to live, and I gave them horse riding lessons for a couple of months. So, but apart from that, yeah. So Ray Winstone also was in the short film Cold Kiss. Jamie was, as you saw, acting not against, but
Opposite.
Well,
opposite.
he was the perpetrator in the film, wasn't he? So he was the one who carried the weapon.
He was a young knife carrier. Yeah.
That must have been quite hard for Jamie to do. I mean, he's a very good actor anyway, and he really comes across as a really lovely person, and very, wears his heart on his sleeve, and to have done that must have been tough.
Tell you what, Paula, Jamie doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve.
Doesn't he? Well, he'll sing to in the film.
No, but
in the documentary.
When he talked about losing his brother, that's one of the very few moments that I've seen him get emotionally upset. He's a very strong character. He's a very strong character. I'm weak. He's strong. That's why when I see that clip, that's when I cry, because I know when Jamie does that, it's like.
That's when I cry too.
Yeah, it is. You don't see Jamie. Jamie doesn't do crying.
Yeah, but I mean, incredible. For me, that was the tipping point of the documentary. Watching Jamie. Yeah. For
me too.
But also, I mean, to have taken that role in Cold Kiss was just, phenomenal. And it does show his acting skills, in all fairness, because to have taken that role on must have been very difficult for him. So fair play to Jamie, absolutely fair play. Yeah. But yeah, I think it's amazing that that Ray Winstone came on board, and it does give the documentary more punch in a way, because I think just because of Ray Winstone. I always think of Ray Winstone in Sexy Beast, that character. It's one of my favorite films. And just because of who Ray Winstone is, he's just forthright. He always seems to be in character, doesn't he? He's like, every character is Ray Winstone, and he just, I don't know, it was very powerful having him in there, to be honest.
That's the thing about it. If you have Colin talking about what should be done, or myself talking about what should be done to tackle knife crime, or to even end knife crime, to find a solution, no one's really going to listen. Probably our closest friends and family will understand and want to listen. But the minute, as you said, you put an actor like Ray Winstone, who's appeared in so many films, even Hollywood films, saying there is a problem, we need to fix it. I mean, people are going to listen, and that was partly one of the reasons I wanted him to get involved, not only his connection with knife crime, but it does give the documentary some credibility to having his involvement in it. And both Ray and I and Colin and everyone on the production team, we're all in agreement that the system is flawed. The system is broken.
Absolutely.
And it's been broken for years. And my heart breaks every time I hear Colin talk about portcullis, talking to prime ministers, talking to X, Y, and Z. And I'm thinking, what has been done? Colin, and it's not just Colin. You've got to look at the Mizens. You've got to look at Damilola Taylor's family, Families United, all these people who've gone through it firsthand. This isn't the people who've had a brush with it or have read about it. These are people. These are families that have lost something that they're never going to get back. Colin is extremely lucky to have a film with Rob in it, because essentially, aside from the Half-Blood Prince, Rob will live forever in this movie. Rob will always go on, and he will go on in this sense that he will be a warning to other people with kids and family members who might want to just double check what they're up to at night, making sure that they're safe, just doing that little extra step to make sure that they're taking precautions with kids, because knife crime is more rife than it ever was in 2008. It's worse now.
Yes.
And we have a government who are doing F-all. Sorry for that, but it's true. They are doing nothing. It is taking a handful of charities to do lots of work around the UK, like Lives Not Knives, the MIDI Music Company, the Rob Knox Foundation, and there's more. But it's taking the collective efforts of those who don't really have much of a budget like the government do to implement these things. And I know the Rob Knox Foundation deals with the art side of things because that's what Rob was about. But there are other places that are doing their bit, trying to make this work
on ground level. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, they are the troops.
The Goldspan Foundation. Do you know the Goldspan Foundation?
I'm not aware of the Goldspan.
Yeah, that's a lot similar stories. Yeah, I was involved. Integrity Magazine were involved with them in I think it was October, November 2019. They had a charity event at the Waldorf. I was a makeup artist. My daughter was a model. That's how I got involved in it. And yeah, similar stories.
I'm sure there is a handful of us, though, isn't there, Colin?
Yeah.
But equally, we talk about the light side of them. On the dark side of the moon, I've been into prisons. I've spoken to 20, 30 people in front of me, spoken to a murderer. Sally's has done outreach programs, and she's worked with the CACT.
With the CACT?
Charlton Athletic Community Trust.
Okay.
We've worked with Charlton ever since Rob died for 10 years. So there's an outreach program going on there. And what I'm involved with is now the light side of the moon. And Sally works with the dark side purely because when I was working, I was lucky to have a great manager for a couple of years. He moved on. Some was promoted. And that younger manager questioned my motives for not coming into work. I said, I can't come in. I'm not. Why? So I felt I had to leave my company. I wanted to mention the company. And I thought that I would leave and then try to fight knife crime on my own terms, not being in the workplace, having a job. But because I wasn't around for 5 years, my name wasn't on the lips of those people. So I felt I was being wasted. So I went to the light side. That's why I chose the art side. And so we do have two sides of the foundation, which is knife crime and supporting 99.9% of young people that are good people, and we shouldn't ignore them. We should help them and promote them.
Exactly. So the foundation and the charity, the Film Academy. How does anyone, if you've got young people wanting to maybe don't have the funds, maybe don't have the family backing, or just the support, how do they then, they want to get involved in the creative arts, maybe the background film side or acting, producing, directing? How do they get in touch with you, guys? How do they get in touch with the academy and the foundation?
Right. So the Film Academy has stopped for the moment. So what we encourage is for people to enter their short films because they don't have a large budget. So they produce a film and enter it into the Rob Knox Film Festival.
Right, okay. And you can find that online?
Yeah, it's online somewhere. Yeah, yes.
You can go to robknox.org, which is where you'll be able to find out more. We're also on filmfreeway.com, so people can submit their films via the normal channels.
Okay, that's good to know.
So any young aspiring actor or producer or director that creates a short film, which is 15 minutes or less,
okay,
that could be entered into the film festival. It will be judged, like all films are judged, and it's a good place because we always show any films that have entered and win an award. It's shown on a huge cinematic screen. We're given a screen by Cineworld the first Wednesday in June normally, without COVID. The first Wednesday in June, and anyone that's going to win an award will see their film on a huge screen full sound, full vision, proper cinema.
Is this in London?
No, it's in Bexley Heath.
In Bexley Heath. Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Just
it's
in the
not in
border.
London. Yeah,
I know it's not on at the moment, but you know we'll get there again.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's not in London. I mean, I'll tell you the reason why it happened in Bexley Heath is because a year after Rob died, Mike Waring, who used to run the Bexley Heath Film Festival, said, "Could we change it to the Rob Knox Film Festival?" And we said yes straight away. So that's where it's been ever since.
Right. Okay. So, what about the foundation? So, how can if anyone wants to get in touch with the foundation, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, you can visit on robknox.org. That's pretty much where we have Rob's story, why everything was set up. This is regularly updated by Colin, right? So this is any new stories that are coming up, any events that will take place, whether it involves Charlton, the Rob Knox Film Festival, and hopefully, Colin, one day, the Film Academy. You can all find it at robknox.org.
Okay, I'll put the link when I share this out. I'll put the link in as well. And so, can I
come back?
Yeah,
can I come back to the Ray Winstone thing?
Yeah.
Ray Winstone, I think he lost a friend. Or no, he didn't. A friend was attacked. He's got 2 daughters, and he was so concerned about knife carrying in London. That's why he got attached to what we were doing.
Right.
And not only do we do a short document, short 15-minute film, he actually put money into it himself.
Excellent.
That's right. Yeah.
He appeared, he supported and put some funds into it as well. So
excellent. Thank you, Ray.
Ray is not just a voice. He's a very good character, a very lovely guy.
If he gets to listen to this interview, thank you, Ray, for all you've done for these guys. Amazing.
We'll make sure he does.
Yeah.
And just to add to that, it was his nephew, Colin, who was attacked, but he didn't lose his life. He's still around.
No, he didn't. No, yes.
But it could have been that. The thing is, he could have.
That's the thing. Yeah, it could have gone
you know?
much worse.
Yeah.
And so, if anyone wanted to watch the documentary, which I really, really would highly recommend, it really is an incredible documentary on so many levels. Apart from Rob's story, I mean, I have to say, Rob is such a beautiful character, but so is Jamie. You know, both the brothers are amazing. Yeah, they really are. You know, and just talented. Both of them very, very talented, and I'm sure it was very difficult. You know, watching all that talent. It must have been a very difficult. They're very difficult for the family. Okay, but if anyone wants to watch the documentary, how do they get hold of it, and how do they get to watch it?
Well, at the moment, we're in talks with a certain distributor, because the end game for us and for myself certainly has always been getting this to TV, especially on the streaming platforms like Netflix or Amazon.
Yeah.
At the moment, we're touring the festival circuit. So as soon as there are any updates, and there will be, you can follow us on social media at Rob Knox Film, and we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Yeah.
And as soon as there is an update, if we're selected for a film festival, or if there's an update about a distribution deal, the social platform will be the first place we'll let people know about it. But for now, I'm afraid people are going to have to watch this space.
Yeah, excellent. Yeah.
Sorry.
Or go to Colin's house and watch it.
Oh, your house, Paula. Go to Paula's house.
You can go to my house. There's a puppy and 2 kids. You'll never get any peace, and you'll be desperate to get out. But hey, you're welcome to come.
I thought you had 3 kids.
I have 3 kids, but one of them. So my oldest moves to a flat in Victoria tomorrow, Sunday.
Oh,
yeah. First
good
time.
luck with that.
She's 18. Yeah, she's first place on her own. What can I say?
Bless.
Oh no.
Mum.
That's fine. So we're wrapping this up, and it's been a real pleasure. If you could get any message across right now, using this platform, what would it be, both of you?
I'd say stand with us. It's time for a change. It's time for a conversation.
And how do people do that? How do they stand with you?
Stand with us on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. Join in. All we need you to do is watch a film. It's not that hard. When the film is available, please watch it, because it just takes 15 minutes to change your mind.
Yeah, I agree. Colin,
yeah.
what would you like to say?
I'm going to move away from the movie side of stuff. I would say, if you know someone that carries a knife, don't carry a knife. You must preserve life. No one has the right to take a life. And I want people in this country to stop carrying and using knives, because every life is special.
Indeed it is.
And I just want to, as you know, about some other subject, all lives are special and precious, and we should. I think we are failing to support the younger generation. We are falling apart. We're losing what we feel should be done to protect them, and I want the elder generation to protect the younger generation by legislation.
Yeah. Well, and I think even just stop blaming them for everything, for one thing. That would be great. And yeah. Currently, they're being blamed for just about everything, and actually to support them and have their back.
No, blame is just deflecting, isn't it? It's not really a solution, is it? It's passing the buck, and that's not on. I mean, put it this way, in perspective, Rob is my age, or Rob would be my age. He will be forever 18. I'm 32 now. I live with my girlfriend. I have a house. I have a job. I'm doing all the adulty things that is expected of a 32-year-old. Rob never had that, and you don't get a second chance. That is extremely important, and people must realize that, because once it's gone, it's gone.
That's right.
I won't see him with his girlfriend. I won't see him getting married. I won't see him having a child. I won't have a grandchild.
Exactly.
That's been taken from me. Someone took that from me. Sorry.
So if you can stop that happening to another person, another parent, another friend.
Even if it's just one. Just one.
Yeah.
So join the campaign. Mentally, if not physically, mentally agree with what you're doing. I think that's, that's something. And support everything you do, and then watch out for the documentary, because it is it's a brilliant documentary. It's very well produced. It's very well put together. And the message, it's human. If I have to describe it as anything, it's human. This isn't, this isn't just like a film that you watch. It's human, it's real, it's honest, and it happened, and his legacy lives on with you, with his friends, with his family, and in this documentary.
Exactly.
Thank you, Paula.
Thank you both of you for coming on. I really wish you all the best. Sorry I made you cry again, Colin.
How could you?
I know, I'm so mean, and it's Friday. But thank you so much, and love to stay in touch.
Happy Friday.
Yeah.
Listen. I have to live with my problem, but anyone else out there, enjoy your lives and protect other people.
Yes, and live life to the full. Enjoy it. Enjoy life.
Yeah,
exactly.
And I just want to say, give my regards to your to Sally and to Jamie too.
Thank you, Paula.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. I'm not going to ask you what integrity means to you, because I think you both wear it on your sleeves, on your forehead, stamped across your whole body. You ooze integrity. So to me, integrity means you guys. So thank you so much for joining us, and I will share this afterwards, and then you can share it out. Have a lovely weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Take care. Well done. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.